In the studio today, all the way from Bakersfield, California, we got Arturo El Greñas Venegas. What's up? Thanks for making the drive, taking time, come down here.
Hell
So
yeah.
it means a lot. I appreciate
Hell
that.
no.
That,
Hell
that was
yeah,
that was
man.
cool. I didn't know.
Yeah, man. I
Yeah,
appreciate you inviting me, bro, for
yeah,
sure, man. I'm super excited to be here. A little nervous the first time doing this, but um yeah, man, I'm super excited to be here, bro. So yeah, I don't mind the drive, and plus we're truck drivers, dog. We drive for a living, dog. So
yeah.
I don't mind driving at all, man. So
You got that
we're all
Class
good.
A, huh?
Hell yeah, I got the Class A, man.
And you're, maybe I failed to mention, but you're the owner of Rig Medics.
Yeah. I'm the owner of Rig Medics. It's a truck repair shop in Bakersfield, California. That's where I'm located right now. That's where I live. I'm 33 years old. I also I hold a Class A license. I've been a Class A driver since 2010, so about 13 years now. I've owned my own truck, stuff like that. I've worked at the ports. Um, but yeah, I grew up here in Los Angeles area, and I was born in the Harbor area in Torrance, California. I grew up in Compton. Went to elementary school there. Went to middle school. Uh, Unfortunately, moved out of the LA area to up north Bakersfield area in 2006. I believe I was like 16 years old. Yeah, so that's how I ended up there. Um, and I didn't like it up there at first, because the city, it's a big. You grow up in a big city,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So it was weird to me moving up there. Um, so I grew up in a with I'm one of three brothers. We all grew up there in Compton. We had our parents there. My parents, Mexicanos, immigrants, came from Mexico. Um, grew up humble, small house, nothing crazy. Um, and we were a little, I guess you could say we were a little poor growing up, a little bit. I wouldn't say poor, because I've been to other countries, and the poverty over there is different than America. You can't compare. So
Yeah,
you
way
don't want to
better.
be poor in Mexico or in any other country. If you're poor in America, you could at least still get some government help and shit like that. But yeah, we grew up kind of poor a little bit. Couldn't buy shoes, couldn't get haircuts all the time, and stuff like that. Normal shit. Not
Yeah,
complaining
yeah.
about it. I love my childhood. Growing up, in the city and stuff like that, going to school, friends, stuff like that. I loved it. I wouldn't trade it. Um, but yeah, my father, he was a welder at first. He was actually who got me into a little bit, into the truck driving. But I didn't think I was gonna be a truck driver when I was a kid, a child or toddler or whatever, preteen. I didn't think that I wanted to be like a cop, engineer or something. Engineer. Well, I'm a mechanic now, so I'm a reverse engineer. So
Mm.
you know, but I didn't like school. So I hated school. I had bad grades all the time. I didn't really care about graduating, nothing like that. I was like, I'm not gonna do. And when my dad became a truck driver in 1999, he got his Class A, and he went straight to the container hauling, of course, because we don't live too far from the ports.
At
So
that point, you were already up,
no,
Bakersfield.
no, no, that was here.
Oh, okay.
1999, I was still here.
Okay.
My father became a truck driver while we were still living in Los
Okay.
Angeles. Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
And yeah, so yeah, he became a truck driver, got his Class A. At that point, well, he made more money, you know. He was a driver first, but he bought a truck really fast, like really. So that, how he bought it with borrowed money too. He just borrowed 5,000 here, 5,000 there, and boom, bought a Freightliner FLD with a cat engine, and started hauling containers, So I seen him do that, I seen him do that, work to buy his truck, work all the time, and
You saw that hustle.
yeah, I saw him hustling. My mom too. Shout out to my mom. She hustled a little bit too, not too much around these areas. She used to take care of kids, clean houses right here in Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, stuff like that, clean apartments. she would take me with her too sometimes and make me clean and shit. Like, barra cabrón, you know.
How old were you?
10, 11. Well, at that time, yeah, 10, 11. You know, my dad barely started truck driving when I was that age. So
10, 11. Is that when you first got a little taste of money?
no, well, not
were
me
volunteering?
necessarily. You know what? I was kind of hard headed. I didn't really. I got a taste of money when I was older, maybe a teenager, but no, era más burro. You know, when I was little, my dad would tell me like, "Hey, I'll pay you if you get good grades. I'll give you $20 or whatever for every A." That did not motivate me. I'll pay you to clean the garden. He would make me to clean the garden no matter what, but you know, I wasn't motivated, you know, that much until I became a teenager. You know, he let me purchase a truck. You know, that's when I started liking cars when I was a teenager and stuff. Like, started liking wrenches and getting interested in vehicles, engines, stuff like that. You know, which most boys do. You know, most young men like cars and driving, and you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was teenager. I was interested in that, a lot of that stuff, and also my dad would take me in the truck with him. I remember maybe I was like 11, 12. He would sit me on his lap and let me hold the steering wheel down the 5, you know, down in. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but
just
that was years ago.
Just say allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. So, yeah, I remember stuff like that, you know. And when I got a little bit older, he would be like, "Venga, cabrón, like this is how you move this truck. Like, así le metes el clutch, el cambio, you know, the yellow and the red valve." He showed me all that stuff, you know, para que. Pues, you know, I was a boy already. Ya dice, hey, si un día tienes que mover un pinche troque, pues lo mueves, güey. Or he would just paint out scenarios for me, you know, like, hey, if you're on a field trip, you know, look at the freeway signs. You know how to move that bus. You know how to use that CB radio, you know, because I taught you and stuff like that, you know. So, which, you know, it's a good thing, you know, that he was teaching me stuff like that, I guess. But, yeah, man, and since he fucking drove, you know, hauled containers from the port to up north, Bakersfield, Porterville, small little cities, you know, like those reefer containers. Esos jalaba él con produce, pues, ¿verdad? And I guess he was tired of living in the city, you know. He was tired of living in the city. He was tired of I guess, you know, he's old school, you know, the violence, you know, we got a reputation for being violent out here in Los Angeles a little bit, you know. But yeah, he wanted to move away, so one day he just came home and was like, "Hey, I bought a fucking ranch in like by Bakersfield somewhere." Like, literally, that's what he said.
Hey, what's up, guys? I bought a ranch.
yeah, literally. He came home from his shift, from working, from driving, whatever, and he pretty much told us that, "Hey, ya compré un rancho. I just gave the guy I don't know, he gave him X amount of dollars to remove the sign, the for sale sign off of the ranch." So that happened, and a few months later I was living in a fucking ranch in the middle of nowhere, dog. You know, and it wasn't even Bakersfield. Bakersfield is a big city. We still had to drive maybe another 40 miles north. A little small town called Ducor, California. I think the population was like 200 people. But there was a lot of ranches, a lot of ranch lifestyle type of, you know. So that was weird for me, dog, as a you know.
Did it come with the smell?
Yeah, it was kind of abandoned, you know. The grass was tall. Nobody lived there when he bought it. I mean, somebody owned it. It was like a retired couple, and they would just travel. So the house was empty the majority of the time when he bought it. So we had to clean it. And you know, coming from the city, even though in that area in Compton, there's the farms. You know, there's an area where you can have horses, animals, chivos, vacas.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in that in animal type of stuff. So he bought a 20-acre ranch. You know, of course he bought animals, cows, all kinds of stuff, you know. And so I grew up around that too, you know. And then plus him being a truck driver, he wanted a spot where he could park his truck, you know.
Yeah.
That's why that was his goal, you know, like, hey man, I need to put my truck somewhere, you know. I'm tired of living in the city and this and that. And a lot of things motivated him to move there and to bring us there. But yeah, we you know, we lived there, learned a lot of other stuff. I learned how to drive even more because, you know, we were out in the country, and he was able to take, hey, dale pa allá through some random road, you know, with, you know, there's no traffic there, no cars.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, I remember that, and my pops, you know, he worked a lot. He's retired now. He retired at 50, but he worked a lot, and well, he made me who I am now, kind of, you know. Him, you know, he taught me a lot of things. So living there was it wasn't a good thing for me, you know. I didn't really like it, but you know, at the end of the day, it was a better decision. He was making a family decision, and that's how I ended up north, you know. And but yeah, that's pretty much how I ended up there, and how I got into trucking, or how I got my Class A.
Yeah.
It was a trip because while I was living up there, I met a girl, my girlfriend, my wife now, and she was from LA. So I moved back. You know, when I turned 8, as soon as I got out of high school, I moved back. And I tried to get my Class A with this dude that, I don't know if you heard, back in the day, people would pay for it. Like, they would buy it. You could buy it from somebody.
Of it, but I never knew no one.
Yeah, exactly.
Did it, you know?
So, I had heard of that. My dad had like a buddy that had done that, had bought it, you know, for like $1,500 or something like that. You know, you don't. So
how much did you pay?
Allegedly? Yeah. Allegedly. Some dude, man, I don't know how it came about. I met him at some shopping center, I forgot, but he gave me a business card, and the business card said commercial driver's license. And, you know, my dad was already bugging me like, hey, agárrala, güey, agarra tu licencia, no te hagas pendejo. But, you know, so he was bugging me. So that guy, I gave him a call. I gave him a business card. So I was like, what do? You have a school or what? A trucking school? And he's like, nah, man, I could get you a fucking commercial driver's license for $2,000. And I was like, wow, whatever. You know, whatever. I kept the business card, but I didn't have $2,000 at the time. So I was like, well, that sucks, you know. But whatever. I ended up getting it, you know, borrowing it. And the dude, well, I pretty much got gypped, you know. He gave me the paper and everything too. Like, I had to take the test. He gave me the paper, and, you know, allegedly I gave him, you know, we made the transaction. I had the paper. I was like, hell yeah, I got my Class A. I didn't have to do shit, you know. And whatever, my Class A never came in the mail, you know. And then I called DMV in Sacramento. Just, you know, I didn't tell them what you know, but I was like, oh, I took my test, but it hasn't came in the mail. And they're like, nah, you've never taken a test, you know. So I got jacked for that, but that was my fault, man. I wanted to take the easy route, you know. After that, I was like, man, I should have just took the fucking test, you know, because I had to take it anyways, you know. I had to, like, you know. So that was just me being lazy, you know, again, with the lazy part, you know. But it was a lesson learned, you know. It was a lesson learned because I was young, you know, and, well, you know, $2,000 was a lot, you know, so.
Yeah, for
you
real.
know, yeah. So that sucked right there, you know. But, you know, don't take the easy route, you know. Don't take the shortcut.
So then how did you get the license? How was that journey?
Well, I had to actually take the test, and now I didn't have any money. so I couldn't pay for a trucking school either. So what I did was I got some questions, borrowed some questions. I studied like everyone does. I studied, and then I went to DMV, paid the $60 or whatever it was to take the test, and I took the test. I failed it, I think, the first time, passed it the second time, so I had my permit. I had my permit now, and I still didn't have money to go to school because now we gotta do the pre-trip, the driving, the skills, all that. So we gotta go to school for that. I didn't have a truck either that I could borrow with a trailer, nothing. So what I did, I went actually. One of my dad's friends, he had a few trucks, and he would go out of state, reefer, 48 states. So he was like, "Hey, you got your permit? Well, fuck, come with me for like a few trips. I'll show you how to drive more, cause I was still, I knew how to move the trucks around, go backwards, forwards, but I wasn't a Class A driver yet.
Yeah.
I wasn't like on the road, nada de eso in the city. No, I never done, never drove like that. So I go with him. I'm like, fuck it. What else? I go with him. He takes me. We go to Texas, Florida, New York, Utah, Ohio, all kinds of places, right? So when he comes back, he gave me a little bit of money.
That's cool.
He was teaching me how to drive, which he didn't have to give me. He didn't have to give me money, but he gave me a little bit of money. So I negotiated with a school.
That's cool.
Like, hey, I already have my permit.
Yeah.
And this, I went to, I did that in Bakersfield, the school. It was just like a dirt lot. It was they were barely starting out, old ass trucks, So I made a negotiation with them. I told them, hey, I already have my permit. I only need to do the pre-trip and all that. I just need to study it a week or whatever. How much you charge me for a week or 2 weeks or whatever, a few days or to come here. And I think they charged me like $800 or $1,000, something like that. So I paid that, and I paid that money, and I just dedicated myself to studying the pre-trip and stuff like that, everything, the driving, the skills, which, I mean, the skills, I was like, man, they had, I don't know if they do that at every school, but they had like señas, like they had a window. You're like, hey, tenía una raya, and like, oh, when that line hits the other line on the chassis, you turn your wheel this way.
Yeah.
And then, well, that's how it was, but I was like, whatever, it's just to pass it. Fuck it, let's do it, Like, they're just trying to get students to pass. But, yeah, that's how I got my license. So I did that, paid the $1,000, went to the school, got it down like in maybe like 8 days, something like that. I just studied, went, took the test, passed the test. Got my Class A, but once I got it, I still couldn't get a job, Still couldn't drive. I was only 20 years old. I still couldn't drive. I couldn't, nobody would hire me. So I was like, well, what the fuck do I do now? So I went back with that guy out 48 states, right? Again. But he wasn't paying me much, He was just, I wasn't like an actual team for him. It was just, he was just taking me, whatever. He was giving me a few $100s a week, but not like a job. I think he's giving me like $400 a week.
But you were already licensed.
I was already licensed, yeah. But I just left, I guess, more for the experience, I wanted to get away at that time. Like, fuck it, I'm just leaving, and going back around the fucking U.S. again. It wasn't too long. We just did a few trips, maybe like 2-3 months. I was gone. Came back. When I came back, that's when my dad, actually, he called me. He said, hey, my friend, he just opened up a mechanic shop. Well, he's my mechanic. He's like, and he needs un ayudante, pues, And the reason why my dad called me is because with that guy that I was already driving with, he was kind of like a mechanic. So if we broke down, he would like fix it. And at that point, I didn't know much about diesel engines, about, I knew how to use tools and stuff, how to change spark plugs and shit on my car and oil change and stuff like that. But I would watch him like, damn, this fool, Like his fan clutch just gave out, and he was like, "Hey, a la verga aquí," and he just pulled out all kinds of shit, buckets with tornillos, tools. He was a I never seen a truck driver like that, But
Yeah.
he was from Mexico, so he was a savage. Like no se quedaba tirado. He wouldn't get stranded unless it was like something like his motor blew, but hell no, he wouldn't get stranded for shit,
Those are rare now.
Yeah, yeah. So I started learning a little bit from him, like how to work on the stuff. So my dad called me, told me, hey, my mechanic's opening up a shop, so he needs a helper. You want to work with him? I was like, fuck it. I mean, yeah, I already liked the idea of turning wrenches.
Yeah.
I love the idea, and so he gave me a job. I started working as a helper at a mechanic shop, cleaning shit, sweeping, cleaning up oil, cleaning people's tools, un ayudante pues, un chalán. But I fucking loved it, and I wanted to do everything. I wanted to learn everything. So I was pretty much self-taught and taught by that person that gave me the job. Shout out to Chango. He's still around in the Bakersfield area. Shout out to Chango. He gave me that opportunity and to teach me that trade. A lot of people don't, a lot of people tienen envidia or whatever. Nah, no lo voy a enseñar. You see that in the trucking industry too, like don't buy your own truck or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Drive for me.
Yeah, drive for me. Get my truck. Nah, fuck that. But whatever. He gave me a job and I started learning fast how to do stuff, and he kind of put me through sections like, hey, you're going to learn how to patch tires and remove them, replace them, llantas de container, whatever, every tire. And that's what I did. He showed me. That's what I did for about like just 6-8 months straight. I was like, llantas. Hey, pinche containero, se le tronó una llanta en la montaña, in a grapevine.
Oh, so you were like the shop's roadside.
Yeah, I actually once I actually knew how to just patch tires, replace tires, just that basic thing. Once I had that skill, that dude actually gave me a service truck, and I had that service truck all day, every day. I was on call 24/7. I was a good employee. I was a good employee. So that, and then I just started learning everything else. It was easy for me. I started learning everything, just replacing shit you learn, and and then you also have to put some time into study a little bit. You just can't replace a part not knowing how it functions, or work on an engine not knowing exactly how it's functioning. So it took time. I worked for him for years, about like 7-8 years.
Wow.
And like I said, we go back to the trucking. I always wanted to be a truck driver, right? That's why I got the license. But I'm not gonna say I got stuck in the repair industry. I didn't get stuck in it because I loved it, But I always had that thing like, nah, I wanna drive a truck, like. So, while I was working in the repair industry, while I was an employee for this company, one of the customers, he says, hey, there's this guy selling a Freightliner Cascadia 2010. He's like, he has 4 of them. He can't pay for them anymore, and he just wants to get rid of them, right? He just wants somebody to take over the payments. I was like, give me the number. I called him right away. He's like, yeah, I have 4. He's like, they're in Hesperia. They're in Hesperia, California. We're in Bakersfield, right? So, I say, okay, can I go see them? He says, yeah, you can come see them Saturday. So we plan it out. We go out there. There's only 2 trucks there. The other ones were taken apart. I guess they had been like I guess he had leased them out to someone, the owner, and they were like transporting drugs with him. I don't know what they did, but something happened where they were just abandoned in someone's house. The house was empty. So I go over there. I see them. We look at the trucks. Me and my pops go over there. We check them out, mirándolos. No prenden. The batteries are dead. So I tell the guy, hey, we'll go get some batteries at Freightliner. We go, boom, put them on, ya prendieron todo. And he tells me, hey, ayúdame a llevarlo para atrás a Huasco. You know? I was like, fuck it, whatever, let's go. I told my dad, agárrate uno y tú otro y vámonos. Y ya. We left, we took it to the guy. When we got back to Huasco, he wanted $5,000 down and for me to take over the payments in order to keep that truck. The payment was $1,700. I think he owed like $40,000 on it. That's what he wanted. When we got back to his house, dropped off the trucks, he tells me, hey, I really appreciate the favor you and your dad did. If you want the truck, just take it. Don't give me anything. Just keep, take over the payments. And I was like, oh shit, like that just, that it just fell in my hands pretty much. Cause for a lot of people, it's super hard to the first truck you get is like super hard, or you have to go be a driver. And I didn't want to be a driver. I didn't want to be a driver because I knew que me iban a traer en putiza, because I would see, like when I was working at the shop, I would talk to the customers. And they'll be like, no, chinga, güey. Something like, empiezo el domingo yo y que la chingada, I'm like, I don't want to do that, I don't want somebody telling me, hey, fool, on Sunday, ya vete, go to work, like, leave your house. Nah, I didn't really want that. So I was like, if I go into the truck, and I wanted to be an owner-operator. So the truck pretty much fell into my hands. I just had to take over the payments. And that's how it happened. That's how I became an owner-operator by that guy, Rodrigo Vargas. He gave me that truck, just, hey, toma. Pretty much, I mean,
What would have been the risk, though? Maybe, what if he was behind and they were looking for that truck to repo it?
Well, I did have issues with it when I tried to put tags on it. It had like some type of hold. DMV had a hold on it, DOT. There was a bunch of stuff. So the first year they gave me tags, I got apportion plates. So they gave them to me. And then when I tried to renew them, they were like, hey, something's wrong with that truck. Something's wrong with the VIN or something. I had to get it like refereed and shit. So, that's how I got into that. And I started right away, pues a los containers, when he gave me the truck, right away a los containers, because that's what my dad did. He did.
He gave you some
containers.
tips to make it easier.
And he was still kind of still kind of driving. I think he had like 2 trucks that he had like drivers on them a little bit, but he was still in it kind of. So he sent me to a company. First company, and I didn't have much money, so because when I started, this guy just gave me the truck.
Yeah.
So I didn't have money for diesel. I didn't have much money. If I broke down, I could repair it myself. I had to buy the parts, but
it'll take a little while to get rolling again.
So I didn't have much money, for diesel, nothing like that. So, he got me in the containers, and pues de ahí a darle, that company. I didn't know nothing about companies, so when he told me, hey, join that company, those are my homies right there, I just went straight to that because I didn't know shit about it.
Yeah.
And at the time, my brother was working at that company too. He's a Class A driver too. Shout out to Tepa Boy, he's out there somewhere. But I was working there, so but that was a real bad experience for me.
Yeah.
Real bad.
How so?
So at first everything was cool, I was doing trips from the port. We would grab an empty from the port and then take it to Tulare, recycling, that scrap metal. So I would get that loaded up in Tulare, y de ahí bring it back to the ports, and everything was cool. They were paying good. I liked that I was making. I'd never seen that amount of money, like me personally make it, because as a mechanic, I wasn't making that much. As an employee, so being an owner operator, where you get a little bit more,
What was the difference? 3 times, double in rates?
Okay, well, yeah, probably, yeah. Well, as a mechanic, I didn't. I think the most I made in those years maybe was like $800-900 a week, and that was working Monday through Saturday. And when I became an owner operator, well, my checks would be significantly high. I was like, oh shit, like $3,000-4,000. Of course, I had to pay the fuel and stuff from there, insurance and all that. But still, I was still keeping over $2,000 for my pocket. And I was just like, holy shit, that's a lot. That was a lot of money for me. It was a lot of money for me. So, but it was only good for a few months maybe. Checks started maybe like 2 months, and then checks started bouncing. So then the owner would tell us, hey, cámbialo el lunes, go on Monday, and just he'll give us a check on Friday, and you'll go try to deposit it. There was no funds. So that was hard, because I was just starting out, I was just starting out in my truck. So when he didn't give me the money, when I didn't have money, well, like, dude, I can't run. But the dude, he would give me diesel, like, hey, yo te echo diesel, no te agüites, go to this fucking fuel station right here on ¿cuál es esa? There's a small fuel station on Santa Fe and Anaheim in front of
PCH truck stop.
Yeah, that one.
Tenían una cuenta.
Ajá, tenían una cuenta. I'll just pull up, hey, vengo de tal compañía. And they'll just fill my shit up. So I would do that in order to keep working. But, he kind of had me trapped, because then now I owed him fuel, but he also wasn't paying, they weren't paying me. The checks would go through, but it'll be like, I'll get it on Friday. Sometimes it'll go through on Tuesday or Wednesday, and it's like, man, it was just, so they had me like that for a while. I think it got to the point where, I think they owed me like $11,000 around there, 10,000 and some, close to $11,000. And I called the guy and I said, hey man, I need you to pay me, dog. Like, I can't pay my rent, I need my money, like I had already tapped into all the savings I had. I spent everything just to pay the truck note, pay all insurance, all that stuff. I was tapping into my savings, so it ran out. Even to pay my rent, I was tapping into my savings because these guys weren't paying me, But then I guess I kind of felt, I was new to it, so and then it was like those people were like my dad's friends, I guess you could say. So I was kind of felt a little weird. And then I would talk to my dad about it. He's like, nah, se va a componer, no te agüites. They're just, going through a little thing and whatever. But they didn't pay me. So I got a little frustrated with them, I started calling, hey man, ya no muevo el troque, but I need you to pay me. Ya no lo voy a mover. I'm not gonna drive for you no more, but I need you to pay me,
Because you were getting diesel though, so but still,
you
weren't getting the reward.
But I said, look, I'm not gonna move anymore. Like, what's the point of going to pump diesel and going to work if I'm not getting paid for all that work I'm doing?
Yeah, and they're probably not gonna pay for that diesel anyway.
They didn't. They didn't. They ended up not paying for the diesel. So it's like, what the fuck? Yeah, so
fucked up.
That was fucked up, man. And whatever. I talked to the guy. The guy was cool, man. I don't want to say the company name or the guy's name, but the guy was pretty cool. And
how could it? Well, okay. I don't. Doesn't sound cool. You're fucking up, and you have this person working for free, knowing you're not gonna pay them.
But he was doing that to everybody, though. It wasn't like he picked me. Yeah, he was doing that to everybody. But I got tired, because I was already between a rock and a hard place, like in my personal life, with all my bills, all my shit going, because I wasn't getting paid. If you don't got money in the bank, you can't roll. You can't keep going. So I text him and he sends me like a fucking picture of like $100 bills on like a big table like this. Like, he just sends me a picture. Like, he said, come get your money at this time. And so I go and I get there and there's no money. There's no bills. There's nothing. He gives me back, because I had gave him back all those checks because they weren't going through. I was like, dude, here's the checks. Like, they're not going to go through. So he just gave me back the same checks, like, and told me, like, hey, try tomorrow. This was a Friday. He said, try Saturday. you know, there's gonna be money in the account, you know. So I said, nah, man, we're not trying Saturday. Like, I need some money, dude. And I was mad, bro. I was mad. Like, I don't like violence.
Yeah.
But that day I got violent, you know, because I was losing my apartment. I was,
Understandable.
the old lady was getting angry. You know, I ain't got no money. Like, so, you know, I had to do. I didn't do nothing crazy, but yeah, I kind of got a little angry. You know, had a little golf club, and you know, I ended up getting my money though. You know, he gave me like half of it that day. He pulled out cash. He borrowed cash from drivers that were there, and he gave me my money. He gave me $5,000. He gave me another check for the remaining balance. He said, "Cash it tomorrow. You'll have your money," and he gave it to me. But I know about maybe 5-6 other drivers that left that company without getting paid. 20,000, 50. My brother's one of them. My brother, he worked there. I think like 15,000. They owed him. By the time he left, another cousin, I think like 20. So it's like, yeah, I left and I got my money, and then
the check went through.
Yeah, the other check went through the next day. I was so happy, man. You know, and
You're like, fuck that.
and I didn't go back. I went to work for just pretty much. I didn't know what to do, you know, because I didn't have money for fuel. Even though that dude gave me the money, like I already owed all that money, you know, so. It was like, well, I didn't have shit. Yeah. I grabbed it and I already owed it, you know? So I went to work locally, pulling out empties, loads, just for the yarda, you know? I went to work locally.
Somewhere
else.
Obviously.
I forgot the name of the company. It was with a little chinito over there on Anaheim and McDowell or some. No, I forget the street name, but it was on Anaheim, close by over there. I worked for him just pulling out en la noche, pulling out empties, pulling out loads, taking in empties, emptying, load out, and así nomás toda la noche, all night. And I didn't make that much money, but, you know, it got me back on my feet. And that's when I had to live in my truck. So I stayed out here, and I lived somewhere else, you know. So I would have to live in my truck, cook in there. I would go to Planet Fitness and take a shower, you know, work out for a little bit, take a shower, and then, you know, keep working. I did that for about almost a year. I think I did local stuff like that and lived in my truck, you know, which it wasn't hard. I didn't think that was living in the truck is not that bad, you know.
¿Para lavar la ropa?
Pues I would go home on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would go home on the weekends. Yeah, during the week I would live in my truck. I'll go home on the weekends. So, you know, pero pues sí es una chinga, you know, it's hard living that way, but you know, you got to do what you got to do, you know. And I worked doing that for a little bit, and then I went to another company that took loads out from the port and delivered them to Ross in Shafter, California.
Yeah.
And that's all we did. Just loads from the port to Ross.
Drop and hook.
It was the easiest thing ever. You know, it was the easiest thing ever. So I did that for a few years. I paid off the truck. It didn't give me that many problems too, but when it would, I would repair it myself. I know I got stranded a few times up in Gorman, up in the Grapevine. My driveline flew off one time. Yeah, for a mechanic, right? I'm supposed to have my truck in tip-top shape.
You were grinding them a lot? Or
Nah, I think it was...
Don't be shy.
I think it was... Nah, I don't grind gears, man. You know, my dad taught me well, you know. El pinche clutch ni lo uso yo.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, see, no, we got to teach the drivers how to do that now, because I be seeing a lot of new drivers that go to my... Not even new, old ones too. They go to my shop, like customers of mine. Some of them drive pretty decent. Some of them use the clutch. Some of them still double clutch. You know, like, oh, shit, you double clutch. You know, I mean, respect, you know, that's cool. But if you learn how to float them, your truck will drive way nicer.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah. But, yeah, I was doing that. I did that for a while, man, until, like I said, I paid off the truck. Um, worked a little bit and then got bored, I guess. Got bored and um, started the mechanic business. I started with a roadside assistance first by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I sold the truck too.
And that funded your startup, the new business?
Somewhat, yeah. Somewhat it did. It helped, yeah. But I started before I even sold the truck. I started a roadside assistance.
You bought a roadside truck?
No, I actually didn't.
Oh.
I had like a little Toyotita, you know, one of those,
go
a little
forever.
Toyota, yeah, a little Toyota Tacoma, and it was a crew cab, so I just put a toolbox in the back, put an air compressor, and
Vámonos.
I mean, all I needed was my skill set, you know, and that's it, you know. Yeah, I didn't look as professional running around a little Toyota, but I mean, it was just a start, you know. And I was, like I said, I started with very, very little money because all I needed was someone to call me that they're stranded on the side of the road, and I knew that I was going to make some money, you know.
It's a little bit more of a profit margin when you go to them, right?
Well, you charge a service call fee, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a service call fee. When you go, you know, you make your money on the service call, and then whatever you're repairing, whether it's a flat tire, it could be anything, hose. I've changed injectors on the side of the road, fuel pumps, a lot of stuff. And that's because I was just the person who I worked with. Back to him, Chango. He's from Mexico, a mechanic from over there, and they work different over there. You know, people, they're savages. You know, you give them a hammer and some fucking vice grips, and they'll fucking, you know, take shit apart. You know,
Yeah.
so
That's how they gotta be over there.
yeah. Yeah, so that happened. So I started that business and by myself with the roadside. Then I started buying a better vehicle, and now I have a shop with 4 employees. So I mean, right now it's going pretty good, and I just bought a truck too. I just bought a 2013 Freightliner Coronado. So,
¿Y a qué le vas a entrar? Back to ports?
no sé, nomás lo compré because it was on sale, you know, it was on sale.
Otra bendición, it landed.
It landed, yeah, it was on sale, yeah, it pretty much landed, yeah.
Dos veces? No, that's
yeah,
blessing.
you got to take those opportunities,
Yeah.
you know. I got it in payments too, you know, so it's like, why not?
Le puedes poner, what do they call that thing?
The
they put on?
pluma, well, that's my idea, yeah,
Yeah.
that's... I
kinda
kind
goes,
of
you know?
I kind of wanna put that into my business, the towing. It's expensive though, like to set the whole setup. That pluma thing, you could only do so much with it. I think it's the pro tote, they call them or tow your own, something like that.
Put a target on that truck though, está cabrón.
Yeah.
Because they steal him for the pluma.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
But that sounds like a good little process. Like, bring the truck to the shop. I'll bring it myself.
I'll bring it. Yeah. I mean, of
Throw that in
course,
the bill, you know?
it's the bill can't be as big as a fucking, you know, a big ass wrecker. You know, they're gonna charge you $200 an hour from port to port. You know, if I have my truck with my little pro tote, I can't really. You know, I gotta help people out, which I do now. You know, I try to help people out because repairs are expensive, man. Parts are expensive as fuck.
Yeah.
You know, like. It breaks people's bank, owner operators too, you know. And I was owner operator. I had to pay for some parts too. My pops, I remember when he would break down stuff like that.
Customers remember that shit. When you look out for them, they'll come back.
Yeah. I try to be as friendly as possible. Like I have a lot of phone. I get a lot of phone calls. A lot of people call me for a lot of stuff. Sometimes just questions, and I don't deny questions. Like. People have called me, they're stranded like, hey, estoy aquí en Colorado. My truck don't run. And sometimes it's like something simple, man. Like your fucking coolant level sensor is shutting your engine down. Just disconnect it, and you'll be able to get the stop engine light off and keep going. You know, sometimes simple stuff like that. That if I go out there or if I go wherever, you know, if I go to the rescue, or if I take that service call, and with the experience, you kind of know already, like, it's probably gonna be this, not a big issue. But if it's something like that where I can maybe figure it out over the phone, and if the customer or the driver is handy, that's a big part, then I'll be like, hey, disconnect this, quítale aquí, quítale acá, hazle así, así, and they'll be able to get their truck back on the road just by me guiding them over the phone. And I don't charge them for that, it's
But
not.
they'll be back, like I said.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they'll remember that
Yeah,
shit.
they'll remember, but
Este sí sabe de lo que
see,
habla,
see, or yeah, they remember, and it's just, you can't charge people for. I know you go to the doctor, yeah, they'll charge you to just sit and talk, but I try to be as nice and as fair as possible, because I was an operator, I was an owner operator, my dad and stuff like that. So I try to stay fair, and try to help out as much as possible, especially right now, because the trucking industry is kind of, it's kind of fucked up right now, the transportation and stuff like that. So yeah, it's
So when you were owner operator, what was your favorite thing about that experience, and the least favorite?
Oh, well, the favorite, I have a lot of favorites. It's but just driving, man. That for me, driving a truck is for me, it's a beautiful thing. Like, I love every time, even now when I test drive trucks, I'm like, hell yeah, shift. It's just, I don't know, especially if it's a 13 speed or 18 speed, I just like shifting, It's just, I don't know. I like the engine. Me gusta como se escucha, los Jake brakes, So yeah, driving is probably the driving that big fucking machine is my favorite thing about trucking, and the camaraderie too. There's a lot of camaraderie out there between truck drivers, and there's a lot of people that, but that would probably be my most favorite thing. And the least would be
In trucking.
In trucking, yeah. Driving that big ass fucking truck, dog. That's the. I just love it. I love it. If I could just drive like a small version of a truck on a daily basis, I would. Like if they had like a pickup size big rig, a Peterbilt, like I would definitely drive that.
What's the least favorite? ¿Qué no te gusta de trucking?
Lo que no me gusta, I guess leaving your home, not being around. That's a tough one. Like the other shit, everything else is learnable. Driving, being a safe driver, turning, backing up, all that, you just get better over the years. All those skills. But yeah, probably leaving your family behind or whatever, that's hard for all the truckers, and that was probably my least favorite thing, not being able to be home as often.
What would you change if you could at the ports? You did ports.
I did ports. I only did ports. Yeah. You know what? The ports for me, they were pretty cool. They were hard for me I had a hard time learning when I first went in there, like how to get to the spots and shit. So if I would change anything, I would say that make it easier for the new drivers that are going to be coming in to find, their spot, because I had a hard time with that, and I would go there at night, so at the beginning, I had a real hard time, like, finding my spot. I was frustrating, like, wait, no mames. Like, I wanted to quit, I wanted to cry and shit inside there. Like, I can't find a motherfucker. And, like, it was just over the phone. Like, I'll call somebody I knew, like, hey, wait, I'm fucking lost in here, And, like, hey, dale pa' acá, dale pa' allá. And it's like,
hey, sir, which way to
I would stop. I would stop sometimes, and I'll ask motherfuckers, and some of them were rude, some of them weren't. Some of them actually, hey, dale, go over there, and
I got sent somewhere just for the fuck of it.
For real? Like
Yeah.
somebody just sent you there
Sí,
just
pa'
to
allá.
fuck around?
Yeah.
No mames.
It was
Dale pa' allá.
culero.
Damn, that sucks.
Any,
Yeah,
any
but
crazy stories?
at the port?
Yeah.
Nah, not really. Just the regular fighting over chassis in the chassis pool. I had somebody try to like actually take the chassis from me. That was probably the craziest. Like I was already backing into it, and somebody tried to beat me to back into it. And I did get angry. Like, dude,
What the fuck?
like you're fucking causing a fucking. It's a hazard, bro. Like, what are you doing? Wait your fucking turn, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that did make me angry, and the dude like he was angry too. So
But he saw it
I
first,
did.
bro.
I always we always carry a hammer,
Yeah.
to check our llanta. So I just got off with my little hammer, like, hey, ¿qué quieres, güey? What the fuck, ¿qué estás haciendo? And he didn't say much, but that was probably nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I was in and out most of the time, in and out of the ports,
You know what sucks when you go through that and then you hook up and then that shit has flats and it's all
pin
fucked
te
up.
mandan para atrás allá en el
You're like,
roadability.
Yeah, you're like, this is what I was fighting
Hey,
for.
yeah,
This
fuck,
shit's
dude.
garbage.
Yeah, that sucked, dude. But yeah, that was probably one of the craziest things in there. I got kicked out once out of Evergreen though. I got banned from there. I think I just got like into a little argument with the clerk. Ya ves el que le das el ticket ahí para que te pongan la carga y eso. I don't know why we started arguing. I think I moved the truck when I wasn't supposed to, or some stupid ass shit, And he just started arguing with me, and they did ban me from Evergreen for that. But I mean, it was only for like 30 days or something like that.
They escorted you out.
Yeah, llegó ese güey in the little white trucks, and me sacaron. But I mean, no big deal. But yeah, just if the ports had to change something, just make it easier for the new drivers. Like PRE, the automated shit, I guess that's, a little more easy, advanced, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Which are they going to make all the ports like that? Because I know PRE and Maersk, right? 8 p.m. are automated, right?
They have automated, like Maersk has an automated section. Not all of it is automated.
Not the whole thing is automated. Oh,
PRE is all automated, and then TradePack is fully automated too, as far as like picking up the imports and
picking
stuff.
up, yeah.
But like stacking empties and stuff, all that,
It's still the same.
They still have the piles.
Okay.
But do I know if the other terminals will want to do it? I think maybe, but I don't know. When I get news like that, I just share it. But either way, I take a lot of shit for it.
Yeah,
for even posting it.
Right.
I support it because I post
That's what it is. Yeah.
You don't like the news? Change the channel.
Yeah. Don't look at my shit.
Yeah. Easy.
Right.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
So, which has been more lucrative in your opinion, the mechanic or trucking?
Well, probably the repair side of it, because I own a shop now. If I was just a one-man army, it would kind of probably be the same as owner-operator. Maybe I can make more. The more you work, the more you make. So if I'm out there servicing vehicles with no sleep, I'm gonna make money. Same thing in trucking. I mean, if you don't sleep, you're sleeping 2 hours, 3 hours, you're just fucking knocking these loads out, which is hard to do now with the E-log.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons that motivated me to get the fuck out of there too. The E-log.
It started getting a little.
Fuck this shit, So, yeah, I mean, eso es lo único.
There's levels in both sides, right? Like you start off at that was the
Sí,
charlan. Then
and then you could buy 2-3 trucks. Like I know some guys that were working with me at that one company, the first one I worked at. I think he had like one truck when I was there, one or two. One, I think. Right now, I think he got to the point where he had, I think, 9. I mean, it took years, but that's lucrative, You own 8 trucks and they're moving on a daily basis. That's gonna be very lucrative,
Yeah.
And like myself too. Now that I do I'm in the repair industry. Well, the more employees I have, the more trucks they can repair. If I have service trucks out on the road, the more I have, the more income, you know.
Yeah.
But for me, yeah, the repair industry is more lucrative. Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna start training.
Yeah, right. No, you should.
Everybody's like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
parking the truck.
Well, yeah, you got to see, because if you're going to get paid, let's say a driver, owner, operator is going to make $600 to move a container from the port to Bakersfield. And, I mean, I can make $600 on a service call from Bakersfield to, let's say like a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive. I would charge somebody $600 just to go there. Plus the on-site hours, and you know,
Do you got to take that up front, right? I wouldn't want to drive 4
Well,
hours and then it's like,
it depends. Listen, sometimes that there has been issues like that where somebody calls me in the middle of the fucking night, hey, I'm stuck in the fucking scale house or whatever. They put me out of service. So I go and hey, some other guy got here, he's just gonna do it, and I lose out on that. So I just woke up. So yeah, sometimes I have to take payments up front, at least the service payment. Yeah. Depends who it is. If I know the customer, if it's like you, I'm like, okay, you're good. I'll be there in a bit, you know?
Okay.
You know? But other than that, you know.
It's a plus to fix your own shit as a owner op, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. Hell yeah, because like I remember, well, when my drive line flew out, I fixed it. I also would carry parts with me too, you know, like
Spares.
U-joints, yeah. I had tools, and I had air tools, everything. I would hook up to my air tanks and fucking just start. Yeah, I remember when that happened I was in Gorman, and I pulled over. There's a dirt lot right there next to the Carl's Jr. I pulled over barely because my drive line was knocking. So there was other drivers there like trying to sleep, and I was down there like at 11 at night fucking hammering the shit out of the U-joint, you know, trying to replace it. And, you know, and just todo engrasado. You can't even wash yourself, you know. And I had to jump back in the truck, todo engrasado, and just come down to Long Beach, you know, come down to the ports.
But you did it.
Yeah, I did it. Yeah.
You had a spare part for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Surprisingly.
Wow.
Yeah, surprisingly. I had the spare part because I went to Vegas once to bring a load from there, and I went to the catwalk area right there to take a piss, you know, and I look down and I see there's a missing bolt on one of those U-joints. So I went and bought the whole U-joint at Freightliner, but I just used the bolt that day because I was in a hurry, you know, and so I had the U-joints in the truck.
But the friction was already kind of
so I didn't pay attention to it, right, for a few days. I was like, I'll do it on the weekend, you know, valió madre, you know.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think it's? Because that would have been an expensive.
Hell
repair,
yeah.
Right?
Some I would have paid maybe $800, $900. You know.
Yeah. Okay,
I would have lost.
guys.
I would have lost the fucking load I just did.
Fuck
right.
That. So yeah. Sorry guys, I had to wake you up, but
Yeah.
saved $800.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the biggest mistake that owner ops make in business and in maintenance?
In business, I think they don't save enough money for the repairs. So they should have a big savings account, you know, not big, but you know, at least to cover a major repair just in case, you know. And a lot of people don't do that. I see a lot of that, you know, like they're just driving, going, y se quebra el troque, y you know, fíjame.
No more banda.
No, yeah, nah, but yeah, I mean that's in business that, and then, you know, they neglect. A lot of people neglect their trucks, you know. You shouldn't neglect it because that's what's feeding you, you know, and it's a big ass machine, you know, pinches fierros, fucking metal to metal, fucking rubbing against each other all day long, fucking. You know, you're running down the freeway, 80,000 pounds, you know, bushings hitting. Like, it's a fucking machine that's taking a lot of wear and tear, you know. So, Oil changes are super important, man.
I learned the hard way. I did like 6 months, no oil change. I had a small leak, so I was like, más
Fucking
le
just
echaba lo
adding
que le
it.
faltaba, you know? Like,
Yeah.
all bad.
Yeah.
Ended up getting an in-frame eventually.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, eventually, you how many miles was on your engine?
It was not even at the 400,000
Holy
mark.
shit!
Yeah.
Why'd you need an in-frame?
It just, a lot of blow by.
Oh, okay.
And that's what my mechanic said, so I trust him.
Yeah, you should trust your mechanic. Yeah, you should. That's an important thing. A driver, owner, operator, or company owner, whatever, they should have a good relationship with whoever is repairing their vehicles. Para que todo vaya, everything's, en control. So yeah, the maintenance, super important, man. Greasing, greasing your kingpins, your bushings, your fifth wheel, your steering, your U-joints, everything, bro. Your braking system, all that's important. And sometimes it's not the owner op's fault. Sometimes they take it to a shop or to a quick oil change place. You have a lot of those on the highways. And sometimes the employees there, they don't do the job correctly. They're like, no lo van a engrasar, I've seen that because I've worked, people get lazy and like, fuck it, So that's something where they have to, the owner op has to, le tiene que poner atención, pay attention to who you're taking your truck with, and stuff like that. Sometimes too, parts, people, owner ops, they don't want to spend as much on parts. So OEM parts, they go a long way, If you buy rebuilt shit or, it's going to break down, faster than the OEM part, So sometimes I've had like rebuilt turbos, rebuilt injectors break down in 1 or 2 days, so.
That's why shops don't give warranty on stuff that the customer brings on their own. Like if they bring aftermarket part, you'll repair it, but it's very unlikely to do the.
Yeah, because I can give like I usually try to give people like a workman's warranty. So like if my guy did something wrong, like if that bolt's loose and we touch this, well, someone did something wrong, but. That's it. If you want something rebuilt, I don't buy it. I don't, you as a customer bring it to me, but I can't give you any warranty on that part or whatever you want, and I'm just going to keep charging you, to replace it, so if you try to save money, sometimes people try to save, pero sale más caro, it's worse in the end, just, and it's hard. I know it's hard. Like, parts are fucking expensive, It's not even the labor that's expensive. It's parts,
So depending on the scenario, let the mechanic do their thing if it gets you a warranty or no?
I mean, you can still get a warranty regardless because if the customer goes and buys his own parts, let's say he's doing an in-frame on a Cummins, if he buys his own parts, those parts are warranted under whatever dealership or manufacturer you bought them at. I couldn't give him a warranty. I can give him a workman's warranty, but that's not going to be for a long period of time. It's like if something's wrong with my repair, it's going to show right away, If something's loose, it's going to se va a desarmar rápido, So it's hard for the mechanic to screw up if they're focused and know what they're doing, But the part can fail. We see that more, parts failing,
What's the most common repair that these shops see?
Well, for me, depending on the engine, so we have different engines, Detroit's, DD15s, DD13s, Cummins, ISX. They all have different things that pop up, just normal shit. But let's say on a Cummins engine, ISX, ISX CM 2350, you see a lot of the camshaft goes out a lot. The lobes on the camshaft, they wear out. That's a big expense right there. I think the camshaft OEM is worth around $2,000 OEM. And when you replace the camshaft, you got to replace all the rocker levers. You're gonna pay about $100 each. There's 12 of them. You know, the labor's not that much, but the parts. But that's a common issue with the Cummins ISX. Also, the sleeves, the block will, the sleeves will drop down. It'll cause coolant to go into your oil, which will cause blow by too. So that happens a lot. Fuel pumps happen a lot too on Cummins. Fuel pumps are expensive too.
Is it true or is that a myth that running on low diesel all the time will?
Yes.
Yeah.
Will fuck your fuel system up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
It can, because there's a certain point where if your truck's not sucking fuel, it'll suck air, or it'll suck like all the dirt that's left on the bottom, all the sludge, and all that shit's gonna get into your fuel system, into your fuel lines, injectors. I mean, you have filters for that, but we go back to the same thing that some drivers don't change their oil, their filters.
Yeah.
You know? So if you're pumping dirty fuel, you know, your fuel system's going to give you issues, you know?
We all know that Cummins are the best engines, but
yeah,
no,
that's my favorite engine.
I'm just saying that's because that's what I had, but in your opinion, which ones are more dependable? If someone's looking for a truck, it'd be like, I'm gonna pick one with this engine because Rig Medics recommended it. So
I would definitely go with the Cummins. If anybody is trying to purchase a truck, definitely go with the Cummins. They're more durable. It's just durability. Parts are expensive, way more expensive than a Detroit, but way more durable than a Detroit for sure. Even though I had a Detroit, I had a Freightliner Cascadia with a Detroit, which they're good engines too, but I prefer a Cummins for sure. And Detroit had a Series 60, which they stopped making.
Why?
Because that never broke down.
Oh shit.
Well, that's what I think they stopped making it for, because literally those trucks never broke down. That engine never broke down. It had a problem with the injector springs popping out and like the jakes, and the rockers breaking, but that's no big deal.
Yeah.
You could drive. If one of those injector levers break, you could still drive the truck with 5 injectors.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, they stopped making those. Those were badass. Those Series 60s, the 12.7 and the 14 liters. Yes, that's my favorite. That's one of my favorite engines to work on too, because how strong they are and how durable. But we don't have that anymore. Cummins, at least Cummins kept the ISX. They used to have the double cam ISX, and then the pre-EGR one, which was a signature 600 horsepower Cummins. But now they have the ISX 15, the X15, DEF, all that shit. But they're still good engines, yes. We just have the after treatment system that ruins it.
Yeah. Speaking of that, what's your take on that? Deleted systems and clean trucks overall?
Well, I don't like that they put an after treatment system on diesel engines. I don't know why. I prefer a truck without it. I know it's like to help the environment or whatnot, the California Air Resources Board. I just think it's to make money. I don't think it's helping shit.
California really loves Mother
the
Earth,
environment,
bro.
really?
Yeah.
Hey, it's so crazy, but I don't think... I mean, I'm not going to say delete your truck, but... and then it's super expensive to repair the after treatment system, bro. So, which way you're gonna go? You're gonna delete your truck? You're gonna fix that shit? It's gonna keep giving you problems, or what? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you fix it and then it keeps fucking up.
Yeah,
so
and then nobody gives a
once.
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah, you're not gonna fucking. Who wants to pay $15,000 to repair a fucking after treatment system that has nothing to do with your engine's power or your engine performing. Just remove that shit, and your engine will run fine.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. But I mean, I don't know, but probably most of California's trucks are non-compliant. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I don't know. I don't, but I mean, from the looks of it, I highly doubt people are repairing, that shit.
Did you notice that they're more likely to break down now compared to the old way?
Yes. Well, yeah. See, you see them stranded on the side of the road all the time because of this system. Regens, fucking def pump, def filters getting clogged, def fucking stuck in your fucking SCR, all kinds of shit. That is just causing problems.
But you've noticed some also that they have all those systems in place, but then the smoke is all white coming out.
Oh yeah,
and that nasty
that's
smell.
that's because I don't get how that even cleans anything, because you're literally holding all the exhaust fumes in a box, in a fucking filter. In order to get cleaned, it has an injector, a fuel injector that sprays diesel into these fucking filters. And it's supposed to get up to 1,000 degrees for it to even burn that matter in there. And it sprays a DEF too, which DEF is like a deadly chemical. It has like urea. I think if you fucking like smell it and stuff like in its pure form, you'll probably fucking die. So, and if you even like throw DEF on your clothes, se lo deshace, like it'll deteriorate it. So be careful with DEF out there.
Yeah. Not to mention all the pollution from those
dude,
boxes.
that shit, it burns up all that fucking all that soot in there. Where does it throw it into? The fucking tailpipe, and where does that lead to? In the fucking atmosphere.
Yeah, it still goes out eventually.
So now we're fucking mixing diesel with fucking DEF, burning it, and fucking throwing it out there. Before it was just petrol,
They're
like
sanitizing.
yeah,
it,
right. They're fucking cleaning the burnt fuel and then throwing it out there.
Well, it's moving fast because now we're getting to the whole electric truck thing. So,
oh yeah.
What about? Have you thought about that? Maybe tapping into that industry as a mechanic.
I think about it. Yes, I think about it all the time, especially because across the street from my shop, they're building Watt EV is building an electric truck stop. Okay. I think Watt EV partnered with the Port of Long Beach already. They should have. They should be building, or they already built an electric station inside the Port of Long Beach, if I'm correct. But they're gonna be a Watt EV. They're gonna be a class A charging station, a public charging station for trucks. So, I personally haven't looked into it that much. Like, let me go try to take some courses or something like that, because I have friends at the dealership and they're not even taking courses yet.
Oh.
So I believe diesel's gonna be around for the next 10 to 15 years for real. But I don't think it's going anywhere.
But it might be a good opportunity. If you think about it, there was this boom when the clean trucks came into effect. Yeah. There was all these mechanics, and low key they were learning as they went too. They were learning on your shit and billing you for it.
Right.
There was one scenario, we were just changing this part. Let's just say it's like a little. It was just something that, let's just say, like $20 worth, and they were billing this chinito $400 every time he took it in. Yeah, and it was just something minimal.
Yeah, that they might.
But they're new to it, so they're like, "What the fuck is that? Like, just get my truck running." So maybe with electric trucks, we're gonna see that at first, like all these repairs and.
Yeah, I believe so.
Drivers will have to get on game and see if it's really worth what they're getting billed.
Yeah, I don't think owner-operators are going to be ready to jump into an electric truck anytime soon either. I mean, I think it's going to work maybe for big companies that are maybe moving local stuff. I want to see one of these electric trucks. I want you to give it to one of my customers that works at the fucking dairy farms, y que lo meta ahí en el pinche lodo, and the fucking... Throw that fucking electric truck in there, see what happens. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about them, other than Tesla and whatever comes up, up on the news or whatnot. But yeah, dude, I haven't had any training or anything. I'm a diesel guy. They are interesting though. Electric trucks are interesting, but uh, even if diesel goes away in California, which that's probably gonna be the first state to you know become fully electric. I mean, we're still gonna have those trucks are still gonna have tires, rims, air. They're still gonna need air, brake chambers, brakes. Supposedly, you don't have to change the brakes on them. That's what according to Elon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know
On his, yeah,
on
on his
his truck.
models. I don't
So
know how the other
we
ones
have
are.
we have still Kenworth, Peterbilt, Mack and Volvo, Freightliner. Everybody's building an electric truck. So
Yeah.
but I'm not too worried about it. I believe in diesel still.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
believe
all
in
right.
diesel.
In business, what lessons has that taught you about yourself?
Um, Probably that I can do more than I thought, and that I can handle more than I thought I could. Because I wasn't. I don't think. I didn't think I was gonna be here. When I was younger. So
You're proud of how far you've came?
yeah, I actually am. I try to tap myself on the shoulder sometimes. Like, hey, good job, man. It's hard. It's hard. Owning a business is a hard thing. It's kind of like owning. When you become an owner operator, it's not easy unless you got a bunch of money where you could support yourself, and if you work or not work, it's not an easy thing. And especially when you have employees, it's not easy. And in our industry, repairing, you have to look out, make sure everything's good, make sure these trucks are leaving the shop in tip top shape, everything's repaired. So it's a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff I deal with. But I think I did learn a lot about myself owning a business, being everything, being a truck driver, owning the mechanic business. Now jumping back into the trucking because like I mentioned, I bought a truck. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but I have a truck now.
Yeah.
So I might sell it. I don't know. But I like I said, I'm a truck driver at heart. I just know how to fix those motherfuckers.
As you go, you ever feel like you made it already, or do you already feel you made it, or do you feel like I want more, or where there come a point when you're just content?
Nah, man, I haven't made it. I don't feel like I've made it yet because I'm still just a startup. Like, I did start my business as a solo, one man team. The shop, I've only had it I'm coming up on 3 years, so I still consider myself a startup. But it's been going good, because I do no marketing. It's just word of mouth that how I market my business. I don't have signs. I don't have anything. I'm not close. I'm close to a highway, but I'm like in the back and shit by the orange fields. So most of my work comes to me from word of mouth. So I must be doing a pretty good job. I try to. But yeah, it's just excuse me.
Good. And then both professions are were they both equally exhausting? Is they both have their challenges as far as like
I think probably truck driving for me was more exhausting.
okay.
Definitely, because when I wanted to hustle and make money, I didn't sleep. Sometimes I would do double loads, and be up 24 hours or just sleep like 2 hours a day, which sleep is a big thing for me, like you don't feel the same if you're not sleeping right. So when I try to hustle and only get 2 hours of sleep, 3 hours of sleep a day, that was hard, because it's like, wait, you're all tired and shit, so.
And as a shop owner, like what's the main worry if you have any? Main concern, like I'm gonna make sure this is right no matter what.
My main worry is my customer, because I gotta make sure their truck is so the time it's at my shop, I gotta minimize that, as much as I can, because their truck has to be rolling for them to make money, and I understand that, like, but sometimes we can't figure things out, just like, hey, dale, so Um, I know, I have to as a business owner, as a shop owner, pues I do have a lot of stresses, man. Like stresses de oh sí sí quedó bien este jale o one of the an employee no apretó ese pinche tornillo or algo, I have to double check a lot of stuff. Someone didn't like the service, someone did, not everybody is gonna be happy, it's like you go to a restaurant, not everybody's gonna like the food, but we try to give the best service, and para que todos estén contentos. Pero yeah, it's a lot on me, like in my brain, and I'm real bad with um management. I've never had a management job position.
Delegating.
I've never had none of that, none of those positions where I'm like, oh, I can be, it's a whole different thing. I know how to do the job, but running a business is a whole different thing. So I'm still kind of learning.
How to tell them what to do?
That I don't have that much trouble with that because in the previous job when I was an employee, I kind of had like a little bit of authority, a little bit. So I don't have a problem with that. Like, hey, pónganse a hacer esto, pónganse a hacer otro. Pero I think I'm too nice of a boss. I get cut too much slack, and that can be hard. So for me, because I'm such a startup, so if I let things slide, employees see things, and that makes me stressed, because they're probably like, ooh, I can push his buttons, or I can slack off today, and then, like, I don't realize that that's my fault, like I should have set a culture here, but it's going good, like I'm learning, but yeah, it's a lot of shit on my mind, like on the daily basis. I'm not too organized, I just barely started keeping like a notebook like that and writing stuff down because there's no way I could keep all that stuff in my brain, and I started realizing that, like, dude, you're trying to keep like memory of all the trucks in your of what every person is doing, and I can't have that.
You feel like you've manifested all this, or you feel like it's happened kind of like it's like you're guided by something? Because you know the story about the first truck, it just worked out. Then you're back here.
Nah, I feel like I put myself in those positions to get there because that's something I wanted. I just wanted to own businesses, like right now I have the shop, I was the owner operator, and I mean, who knows, I might open up more business in the future. I want to open up a taco shop too, like I just, but my main thing is a mechanic, that's my main. But yeah, I kind of put myself in those positions. Like I knew I wanted to open up a shop, so I put myself in that, and I also helped too. Like my buddy, the same guy I used to work for, Chango, he he helped me when I started. Like he would shoot me work. Hey, go do this. Hey, he even would give me some of his work. Like if his shop was full, I'd be like, hey, come help me. I'll give you 50%. And I appreciate that so much because that was like a lot of people won't do that, and he would let me borrow his shop. Like when I first started, like if I had a big job, hey, bring it in one of these bays, do the job here, free of charge. So he was a big, part of helping me, build it a little bit. He was a stepping stone. But I definitely put myself in the positions. I'm always asking questions. I'm always talking to other people. No, I don't think that I know it all. I try to stay like open-minded, like, student,
Yeah.
And that's in anything, just in life, not just in my industry, but in life,
What's one of the hardest things in your life you've been through, and how did you overcome it? Or have you got over it?
Shit. Well, I mean, I've been through a lot of stuff. Not. I mean, I don't want to speak too much about a lot of stuff, but probably just being somebody. That probably was one of the hard things because when I was younger, let's say teenager still, like anywhere from 16 to 18, I didn't want anything. Like, I didn't have no ambition, you know? Like, even though my dad would tell me about trucking and stuff like that, I still was like, whatever, man. You know, I messed around with drugs for a little bit. I drank too much, you know? Too much alcohol. I still haven't overcame that. That's one of the things I want to... one day I want to go sober, you know, like I don't want to drink. Even though I have it kind of under control right now, I didn't though, you know, for a very long time. But it's like that's something that I'm still yet to overcome. Like because that's something I've always wanted. I don't want to be a drinker, you know, because I've been it so long since I was a kid, you know.
What makes you not want to be a drinker? Like, there's always something that, you know, your awareness is like, oh, this is why. Like,
I guess I just done it too much, man. Like, you know, I mean, I like cocktails, having a cocktail, you know, like having a cocktail with your friend or with your wife or whatever. But I don't know if once I get to a certain point, then maybe I couldn't control it, you know. I just had to keep going. I was one of those guys, like, dale.
Was it ever a stepping stone for other stuff? Because a lot of times it starts with the alcohol, and that makes it easy to say yes to other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I've always drank alcohol. I remember when I was a kid, I used to steal my dad's tequila drinks, you know, like se hacía un tequilita, and I'll go and fucking me le echaba un trago, you know. But and I always wanted to, like, you know, growing up, you're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna steal it, you know, in las fiestecillas, at the parties, at the family parties, you steal a fucking beverage, alcohol, fucking wine cooler or whatever. I was always doing stuff like that, so drinking was part of my life, and I see my dad drink all the time, you know, like every weekend, carne asada, pistear, you know. So it's like, oh, well, that's the thing to do, you know. You grow up, you're like, well, we got to drink. So, but then, you know, you don't know how to control drinking at 16, 17, 18 or drugs or nothing like that, you know. So, but good thing I met my girlfriend. She took me out of a lot of that stuff. My wife now. So shout out to you, Courtney. Yeah, she helped me out with all that stuff. Like, you know. So, but I've always said, like, I gotta get to a point where I don't drink, or I can say no to a drink, or just drink one or two, and that's it. And I feel like I can't do that. Yeah. That's very difficult for me. And I'm 33 years old. I've been doing this since I was like 14. You know,
it's a big change.
Yeah. But I know that I don't do it as much now. But it's just like I did it so much that it's like, what the fuck's the point? Why was I even doing that? And then because I see that I opened this business and stuff and it's going good, I see that. So it's like, if I eliminate drinking, I could probably do more, because that's a distraction. Mm-hmm. But it's like, you know,
it's there. That seed is there. Well, trust me, bro. It's gonna.
Nah, yeah, I know. Cause
it will. It don't have to be overnight. Like,
it's a small steps. Yeah.
Like, never quitting. And anything else, like, don't be a quitter. But this is one thing that there's no specific way. Like, just don't quitting. Yeah. And you get better, better.
Yeah,
fine-tune
it's the same thing.
You fine-tune it. You're trying to know what's up, you know?
Yeah, correct.
Like me, I tried to, like, do only on the weekends. And then,
but
then on the weekend, I drink everything I didn't drink during the week. Because I'm like, I only have 3 days.
That's what I would do,
Or it's like, don't drink 6 months, take a break to see. Well, if I took 6 months off, that means I have it under control because I stopped for 6 months.
Yeah.
No, and then you're like, you get this feeling like it's going to run out.
Yeah.
And then you're only like a pendejada away from taking another break because, when I drink, I do this. So it's like,
exactly.
I said that, I did that. Then it's all.
Yeah. It was just a thing that I've had in my head since like years. When I used to do it heavily, there was a point where I had stopped for like 6 months drinking. And then one day I just couldn't resist. I was like, fuck it, whatever, you know.
You come back strong.
Yeah, but I was like, fuck. You know, it was worse. I felt like it was worse. Like stopping and then starting again.
Yeah, because you let yourself down. Because deep down, you know that's not what you need.
I shouldn't have done that. Yeah. I should have just kept going. Yeah. But I mean, whatever. It just... I try not to think about it that much because I know now I got it more under control, like than I did before. Because I guess I'm just more mature now. I'm like, you know what? It's time to work. We'll have a drink later on. But still, it's just a thing I had in my head. Like one day I'm just gonna be sober.
Yeah, you will. You will. Yeah. Well, God bless that affirmation.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So what would you tell younger you if you could go back and look at yourself and be like, yeah, I got this insight from the future. You know, here's what you need to do, and it'll go a little bit smoother. What would you tell?
I guess what I would tell myself would be stay away from alcohol, stay away from drugs, and just fucking work, man. You know, put your head down and work. Don't pay attention to all the bullshit in the world, you know, because like I said, if I would have, you know, it's a kind of like a regretful thing. I don't want to say regretful because I'm still doing it, but I know that if I would have started maybe 5 years earlier, or, you know, I would be in a better position now. And if alcohol wasn't involved, I would be in a better position now, you know, at least in my business, you know, because I don't pay that, all that caused me not to pay attention, you know, like when I started the roadside assistance thing, I didn't keep the books. I just threw receipts everywhere, like whatever, you know. I gave people receipts, but I wasn't keeping track of anything. So my wife, God bless her again, she went to school for accounting, and then whatever, she has some free time, and she like bought QuickBooks and put it on the laptop and just started like punching shit in. And she's like,
that's cool.
She told me like, hey, you know, you run like a kind of like a, you know, a okay business. You're not, and I didn't see it. I was like, what you talking about? You know, nah, like you actually running a fucking business and you don't even know it. You know, because I was just whatever. I could trabajar, and you know, and then because that's how I was brought up. Like, hey, put your phone away, fucking ponte a trabajar away. You know, don't be distracted. You know, that goes back to why I'm not on social media that much, because, you know, I'm like over here recording my job, like, and, you know, how I was taught is, like, put that phone down, man. Get your ass to work, you know? So it's like I feel dumb recording what I'm working on for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely a new thing. Yeah. So,
yeah, I would definitely tell myself, like, stay away from all that stuff, all the stupid stuff, you know, and work, you know, try to build something, you know, because it's just time, you know, we're only here for limited time, you know, so it was wasted. So if I could tell myself anything, don't waste time, bro. You know?
Well, speaking of limited time, what do you think, if today was your last day, what would you do? How would you spend it? It's not up to you to get another day, so.
Damn, that's a crazy question. I mean, if today was my last day, I would definitely be proud of what I've done already. I would definitely be proud of that, and but I would probably visit my family, my parents, my immediate family, and then I would spend the rest of the day with my wife, because that's my best friend, you know. So we spend a lot of time together. So yeah, that I mean. Yeah.
It's crazy how when you think
in like a truck, probably. Let's drive this truck.
So what's it? Those on truck, you know?
And we're leaving. Until I'm gone.
It's crazy, right? Because when you think like that, those are the things that come to mind. The things that are
not other bullshit.
Irreplaceable.
I'll have a beer. I didn't even say I had a beer, right? Or maybe I'll have right there. We're getting somewhere.
Or that puts it to perspective. Like shit, the irreplaceables, those are the ones.
Yeah, dude. You know? Definitely. So, yes, I mean that's what I would do. I wouldn't. You know, some people might say I'll fucking, I don't know, jump off a building, bungee jump, fucking some weird stuff, but nah. Or go spend all my money or something. You know, like nah, get in debt. Nah, I don't want to do that. You know. So I would just visit my immediate family, probably put them inside a container, ride around with them down the freeway, man. And the last of everything,
with the banda in there,
fucking a whole party buzz, party container.
There it is. Pero gracias a Dios, you know, si Dios quiere, it's not gonna be like that. You know, we got a
Sí,
full life
sí.
ahead of us,
Simón.
and set those goals. And
Yeah.
that goal you have, I feel, I don't know, I get
Yeah.
a little nosy, but I feel because
Yeah.
I can relate to that, you know, and I know how it
Yeah.
feels, and you know what
Yeah,
I mean.
yeah,
So
that
if you have that
yeah.
desire, it's for a reason. So I
Yeah.
wish you the best on
Fuck
that.
yeah, thank you, man.
You
Thank
know?
you. Yeah, cause that is you know, it's a
Yeah.
major thing for me. But yeah.
We're almost at the end here, so I just want to, you know, give you the opportunity to throw in some extra gems. You know, any advice you have on any of the topics we discussed for our audience, or something you want, you know?
Yeah, we could say a little something. Well, to all the drivers out there, owner operators, and drivers, wherever you own the truck, or you working for someone, don't stop working, especially right now in these times. Don't stop working, and don't give up, and take care of your equipment, man, because then you're gonna have to call me and pay me to adjust your brakes.
Yeah.
You know, take care of your equipment. If you like to get dirty, man, watch some YouTube videos how to adjust brakes, how to change a light, how to do stuff, because you know that could save you from being put out of service, or you know, calling a service provider to help you out. You know, try to learn something, try to, you know, do your PMIs, I mean your pre-trip inspections, your PTIs, do all that stuff, because if you're not checking your truck before you go on the road, you might have a hazard that you could spot out, you know, before you head out. So, you know, make sure you guys are checking your equipment. You know, stay safe on the road, drive safe, and you know, if you guys ever need any help, even a question, it could be over the phone. I'm not gonna charge you. You guys could ask me a question. You guys could reach me on my Instagram. My business Instagram is Rig Medics with the X at the end. Or my personal Instagram is Turo120, Turo_120. Or can I say my phone number or no?
That's on you.
Yeah, shit. Or if y'all want to call me or something, you know, my phone number is area code 559-359-0308. And I'm available for service in Bakersfield, anywhere, even out of state. If you stuck out of state, I've been out of state to get people out there too. So, and like I said, if you guys got any questions, you could feel free to give me a call. I'll answer any question with pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right, buddy. Thank
up.
you, man. Thank you. Appreciate it.
And thank you guys for tuning in and supporting the podcast. And until next time, peace.
Peace.